Maybe you heard this before. I was hoping it would be this good. Welcome to my channel, KC. That's me, Carrie Chuck, the Sledge Storyteller, here to talk about the wonderful world of storytelling and dipping into the world of public domain, talking about public domain kaiju, under the strict definition of strange beast, not necessarily big beast. Anyway, track of the Moon Beast, released by Lizard Productions, which apparently went no further than this movie because every lead I could find to read up on them showed only this, and with that kind of name, did they have any other genre in mind? And yeah, this is a reptilian monster. How do we know?
Some form of reptile closely related to the Tyrannosaurus rex.
Directed by first and only time director and otherwise second unit director Richard Ashe, the story starts with our meeting mineralogist Paul Carlson, his friend, mentor, and our needed expert on Native American culture, Professor Johnny Longbow Salinas, and just arrived love interest, Kathy Nolan. A meteor shower has been forecasted, and Paul sees that applicable to his field of study and makes it an occasion to make it a date with Kathy, when all of a sudden a dislodged fragment of a moon rock strikes Paul in the head. And because that fragment needs to be consequential, Paul is too stubborn to get immediate medical treatment. Kathy sees Paul home, where we get to meet his pet, Komodo dragon named Tai.
Short for Tyrannosaurus.
Now, an adult Komodo dragon, they typically grow to be 8 feet long and would need to be contained in a cage that would fill half an average living room. Couple that with the tremendous task an on-set lizard wrangler would deal with due to the Komodo dragon's deadly infectious bite. I have to believe that this is a smaller species of monitor lizard or an Australian goanna.
Then we get the frequently used time-padding device of a random open-air concert. Strange and deadly happenings come out of nowhere where people are getting killed by a supernatural reptilian being. And Johnny Longbow starts picking up on how the creature's emergence parallels ancient events depicted in ancient Native American art. Paul finally sees a doctor and we get the needed insight.
What does it mean? What's happened to me?
You've been hit by a small particle of matter of some kind. Not enough to cause any pain because of the high speed, but it is there.
And before long he realizes that he's been running amok as the Moon Beast whenever there's a full moon.
It's like in those werewolf tales, when there's a full moon in Transylvania, Johnny.
So yeah, basically this is a reptilian creature under werewolf lore. And what's weird is that these full moon happenings feel like they're happening every couple of days, if not a whole week. And okay, that helps with pacing, but it really pushes your suspension of disbelief to its boundaries, knowing that a full moon lasts no longer than 3 days. What feels like additional time padding is the alerted high-level experts in related fields come and just add sciencey terminology to what Johnny has already figured out. And after getting restrained at the hospital, we get... And Paul further comes to realize what has become of him, and understandably gets weighed down with guilt. And goes out with suicidal intentions that carry their own fantasy. Johnny figures out what has to be done to end the threat. He heads out, dreading the prospect of killing his dear friend. Kathy can't bear the thought of losing her boyfriend of just a few days and goes out in hopes to find a less lethal solution. The Moon Beast continues its rampage, killing 2 cops with low-budget swats. And just as we get our first clear look at the Moon Beast, it turns out to be our last, because Johnny gets his clear shot to use his method figured out as the only way to end the Moon Beast threat.
Now, this movie's production was completed in 1972, but was released in 1976, so it was in the can long before Jaws came out. And as you watch this, knowing that, part of you wants to believe it was ahead of Jaws, with that idea of minimizing how much of the monster can be seen at the beginning before we finally see it completely. But what little we see of the moon beast leads you to believe that they were completely ashamed of its design. And I mean, I've seen worse, so I don't think they should have hit it like this. And one thing that threw me for a loop was to see the writing credits on IMDb and Wikipedia, because these are the hardest ever to read on-screen credits. But William Finger is mostly known among comic book fans as Bill Finger, who nowadays is largely getting recognized as the key figure in the creation of Batman. Now, Bob Kane, he originated the idea but needed Bill to flesh out what we know made him compelling. And you don't have to look far to find better sources for that than me. Just Google him or enter the name Bill Finger on YouTube for the whole story. But this revelation led me to realize that he has had his share of screenwriting credits before his death in 1974. But I can't help but have curiosity over Bill's draft of the screenplay, believing that it had a better story than this, and probably didn't have the budget for his vision to be realized. And once again, thanks to free streaming platforms, it's readily available for a viewing and educational player as it's in public domain. But that's my take on the public domain movie and kaiju track of the Moon Beast. Thank you for watching. Agree, disagree, or something I left out? Please let me know in the comment section. If you like this video, please click like. If you like this channel, please click subscribe or follow me on Instagram or X, no longer called Twitter. As always, the link to order Sledge number 1 and 2 is below in the description, where you can order Sledge number 1 on Kindle. In any case, you can order it in digital or paper format. Still working on Sledge number 3 for it to be the strong ending to this 3-part miniseries. I'm keeping in touch with Tiago as he finishes the few remaining pages. But, as always, let's all look for civility amid all the bad news out there about social and political strife. Let's not hate, and let's find friends wherever we go. Everyone be safe, and God bless.